So I've got some lo-fi beats on in the background, and for the next hour and something, I'm just gonna be talking to you everything about Pokemon Legends Arceus. I think to just get down to it, I gotta say like what my position is. I've played Legends Arceus. I've beaten the post game. I have not completed the game, like 100% of the game. I'm never planning on doing that. I've only had one run through, obviously. Also, probably only about 35, 40 hours into it. Nor was I taking any notes when I was doing it. It's just kind of chill for me, you know. Also, this is going to be a full spoilers review. It's completely unscripted, so there's no way I can keep myself from spoiling everything. Just take that as you go in and just enjoy and relax as I tell you everything Pokemon Legends Arceus. Okay, start off with, I did not know anything at all going into this game. Like, I didn't even intentionally make it so. I just did not know anything about the game. I knew there was going to be noble Pokemon. I knew it was set in Sinnoh in the before times, and I knew it was an open world game. And I got it like 3 or 4 days after it was released. I just did not know anything about the game whatsoever going in. So okay, I play a lot of Pokemon. I had a lot of free time. I got COVID. I just, whatever, spend my time playing Pokemon. So I bought the game, pull it up. First thing I see is you get isekai'd into the Pokemon world. I just find that so funny, being isekai'd. Because Pokemon feels kind of grounded in a sense, like this is just another reality with other people. And then suddenly you're isekai'd into the Pokemon world and there's a god talking to you, and this god is Arceus. So firstly, it confirms that there's a god in this world, which I thought was hilarious. And the fact that I did not know what's going to happen in the game. You could eventually catch God. Like, it's an isekai game. What am I supposed to think? Anyway, the problem of the game, especially in the beginning, is that it's really chock full of tutorials. I think it's not as bad as Pokemon Ultra Sun and like Ultra Moon, but maybe it's because this is my first time playing it, so I was more open to new content. It's a lot of tutorials, especially in the beginning. A lot of it is just tutorials. I'm going to talk about the plot right now. It's mostly tutorials for the beginning game. Just going through dialogue, meeting new people. And you get fun, Irida and Adaman. And I like the names. It's a reference to the gems, I guess, that you give Paki and Dialga. And yeah, unique. And then a lot of the characters, the designs are based off other Pokemon characters that previously set in the game. That's neat little Easter eggs. I don't think it makes or breaks the game, but I think something you just gotta point out. Then after that, so you go through all the tutorials, and first thing you do is put in this massive open world. I'll probably discuss the open world later. Let's just keep on with the plot. So you're in this massive open world, and they just tell you what to do. You need to complete your first star rank, and then you gotta quell the noble cleaver. But first, before that, you gotta get the Wordier. So stupid. Okay, so in this game, there's this thing where like, oh wow, you caught 3 Pokemon. You are the greatest catcher in the entire game. Okay, skipping ahead. So apparently, having 3 Pokemon means you're the greatest person in the game. But when you're like at the end game, everybody has a full team of level 60 Pokemon, and they're like, wow, you're this amazing chosen person for having 3 Bidoofs. Like, what is going on? Anyway, you enter there. You see the big Sinnoh mountain, and on top there's a time-space distortion. And nobody explains anything to you then. It's just like, shit's going down. So you go to the Weirdier, and the Weirdier chooses you. Out of nobody. Like, you literally don't do anything. You fight a Kricketune, and you get chosen as a special person. Gives you to play it, and then you go quell the cleaver. Then you also get access to the Weirder. You can like play the flute, you can ride him, and this kind of just repeats for the next 5 areas. You get a new ride Pokemon, so you get Ursulana, then you get Legion, then you get Sneasel, and finally you get Braviary. And on the way you fight different noble Pokemon. I guess it's kind of repetitive, but it's Pokemon. Like, I'm not really expecting something new every time. Not too bad actually, all in all. Like with Pokemon, you normally have a lot of gyms. You have 8 gyms, and you just go and fight the gyms. Each gyms are monotype. Now you're just fighting noble battles, and essentially monotypes, only one Pokemon. So you do all that, and there's a little bit of plot hinted here and there, but there's really nothing. Then you, I don't want to spoil it. Actually, no, I'm gonna spoil it. Okay, so you go, and then there's this point where it's like, oh shit's going down. You quell all the noble frenzies, but shit's still going down. So you gotta choose between Irida and Adamant to like complete the game. And for a lot of people, having this choice kind of sucks because you're in the middle of the game. You have no idea what's going on. I've never played the game before. I do not know what's going to happen, and I gotta choose between Irida and Adamant. I don't know what impact this game is going to make. Honestly, I think in the end it makes no difference. You just catch the Palkia or Dialga first. But at that point of playing, I think everyone felt like, what am I supposed to do? Me, being a simp I am, I chose Irida because she's cuter than Adamant, the dude. Then we did the post game, and in this part, not the post game, I mean like right before the big battle, you just travel to different areas, get a bunch of random plates, get the red chain, just normal like Sinnoh region stuff. Then you fight Dialga and Palkia. Honestly, looking back right now as I'm making this review, this was not particularly memorable. I think it was just moving from area to area and fighting battles, and like none of it really kept in my mind. Then you go, and then you're trying to stop Commander Kamado from like fighting the gods, even though you end up fighting the gods anyway. Keep in mind, it's ridiculous. Never even thought about that. Then suddenly the guy who gives you food becomes a final boss battle, and then he has like Pokemon which outlevel me, and then after that Kamado becomes a boss, and like this really comes back to the thing where everyone's supposed to be not very good at the game. At the beginning of the game, everyone has like level 5 Pikachu's, level 5 Togepi, and then suddenly Commander Kamado has like a proper team of 60s, and they're all like well type balanced. And it, I don't know, kind of breaks the immersion. And then you fight Dialga. Then you catch Palkia. Then you run away. Then you go back, and then you fight Origin Form Dialga. That's what I played because I chose Irida. Honestly, not that memorable. I think the only thing that like stood out to me was the suddenly spike in difficulty. I think in terms of plot wise, it wasn't very special. Like, it's just a typical Pokemon game, and a lot of it is handholdy. I think the closest thing I can compare it to is actually like a Digimon game. So I played Digimon Cyber Sleuth, and in Digimon Cyber Sleuth, they literally just tell you what to do step by step. It's a cutscene, and this goes on for like 8, 10, 20 hours. I feel like this Pokemon game is really similar to that. So you have the main storyline, and they literally tell you what to do, and it's really linear. Like yeah, it's an open world game, but since in each area you have 2 things to do, you gotta get the right Pokemon, crawl the noble, get the right Pokemon, crawl the noble, and you can't go to another area until you complete the at least 1-star rank on your Pokédex. It felt really linear to me. Like I was being told what to do, and I had no options to move around. And I don't know why actually. Like I'm thinking about Pokemon Emerald, and Pokemon Emerald, I'm moving from area A to B to C to D because I want to move from area A to B to C to D. I want to explore the world. So then I go, and then in Pokemon Emerald there's a lot of separate paths that circle around, you make big loops, and then you can do whatever you want. Some paths have nothing to do with the plot, you could just not be there. In a sense, Pokemon Arceus has that. Like, you can go to some areas without, actually no you can't. I catch every single Pokemon I meet in each area, and even then it's incomplete my star rank. So literally, to get from one area to the next, you gotta travel through the entire map without any choice. And you have to complete the plot, and there's really no room to breathe. There's really not much room for creativity. So that's the main game. I felt it was really linear, not particularly interesting. I wouldn't say it's bad, and the difficulty really spikes up. It's okay. That's a good starting point, and you develop a game on top of that. This plot's not 100% of the game, and you can make something all nice and complete. So you finish the main game, and And then you go into the post game, and I do not like the post game. So the post game is essentially, okay, here are 5-6 areas. Each area has a legendary Pokemon. Like, they make it really obvious legendary Pokemon. You go there, you fight the legendary Pokemon, you catch it. You have no choice but to catch it. Like, firstly, I feel like legendary Pokemon should be something that you just get along the side. Let's say, take Pokemon Black and Pokemon White, for example. You catch the Three Musketeer Pokemon. It's not part of the plot. They're just literally in like a cave somewhere. You just go in and catch them. And that's what makes it interesting. And because they're like high level, they're legendary Pokemon, they're quite hard to beat. So you're fighting this like level 40 Verizon, and it's really a difficulty for me to catch. I'm throwing Dusk Ball after Dusk Ball after Dusk Ball, and you only have one chance to catch them. And then in Pokemon Legends Arceus, because they made it part of the plot, the catch rate is like impossibly low. So I would take my Pokemon, like hit them down to like yellow, not even red, just yellow, no status condition, throw an Ultra Ball, and they always got in the first ball. What? Huh? What's the challenge with that? It could be in any other Pokemon. And apparently you can even catch them by going to battle, just throw enough like sticky balls. That's not something that I did. And just catch them in an Ultra Ball. What's going on? And what? I'm really confused. Where's the challenge in this? Especially since it's part of the post game. And you're just going from area to area, catching Mexprit, Uxie, and the other one, and then Heatran, Celestia, whatever. And you can't fail it, so once I accidentally KO the Pokemon, I got a critical hit. And then they just come back. These are legendary Pokemon, like, I don't feel like it should be part of the plot to catch a legendary Pokemon, because they are legends. Like, they will have a future after you, they'll have a future before you. So if they were caught before you, and they will be caught after you, what's going on here? There should be one of them. I feel like in normal Pokemon games, when you catch these legendary Pokemons, like just the random ones, like Suicune, Entei, and let's say that other one, you're catching them, but not mandatorily. So there could be a universe where they've never been caught and they will never be caught. Or in this specific one of your playthrough, you are special and you catch them. But with this, it's like everybody has caught them. So it is in the story that at one point in time, these legendaries are going to be caught. So let's say you're looking at someone playing Pokemon Diamond Pearl right now. With this fact and knowledge, you know that Uxie in every single universe has been caught without, like, as a fact. And it just kind of ruins that story for me. Like, legendary Pokemon are special. Like, you catch, maybe because it's a prequel game, so it's kind of different. Yeah, it kind of ruins the future by making legendaries caught in the past. Anyway, so now, you've caught all the legendary Pokemon, all level 70s. You go and fight Volo. It comes literally out of nowhere that you're fighting Volo. Oh, is that a spoiler? Well, too bad. There's nothing hinting that. Like, there's a few hints that he's like really interested in culture and tradition, but he really just comes out of nowhere and it's like, I want to remake the world because I don't know. What? Like, I want to see Arceus. He looks like Arceus. Like, okay. Then you beat him, and his team is like ridiculously strong. We'll go into that later. Then he pulls out a Giratina out of nowhere. He looks like Arceus. He pulls out a Giratina. And I'm just like, what? How did you do this? What's going on? That's where the plot like really comes together. Because the main part of the game where you're fighting nobles and stuff, there's really no plot. There's nothing telling you what's going on. You're just going through the motions. So suddenly here's the plot and it comes out of nowhere. And then Giratina, and then you beat them, and then game is over. And you've completed the plot. What's going on? Generally, I was so confused. I was not confused in a sense like I don't know what's going on. It was more like this doesn't feel satisfying to me. And I'm not gonna say that this breaks the game, but I feel like it could be better. It really could be better. Anyway, so that is the main part of the plot. Now let's talk about catching Pokemon. So in this new game, there's this really new mechanic. I think everyone's heard of it, where it's an open world game and you get to throw Pokeballs. I think this might be like a weird opinion, like an opinion nobody's gonna agree with, but I'm not the big. Okay, how do I put this into words? So let's say you play Legends of Zelda. When you shoot a bow and arrow, you can actually use the motion control to aim it. And I feel with Legends Arceus and the Nintendo Switch specifically, it's really hard to do that because the sensitivity on the D-pads on these Nintendo Switches do not work very well. So I'm trying to like narrow down and exact on a specific position, and I can never get it. It's honestly a bit annoying. I found it really not a trick, but I think it's better to move your character instead of moving the aiming thing, to move up and down so you can actually hit. I think catching is a really interesting mechanic. I do not think it's something that I want to see in long-term Pokemon games, but I think for this Pokemon game, I mean, it's quite good. It works really well. Makes the game much more interesting. Like, to some extent, you can just play the entire game without, like, other than the mandatory battles, you could just catch, and never get into fights. For me, again, I'm not saying that I'm like a completionist. This is a really unthorough review. When I was catching Pokemon, I found the easiest thing to do was throw out my own Pokemon. Because I don't know how to put this in words. Normally, I would walk up to them and I cannot find a nice spot of tall grass. So then they will always see me, and then you can't catch them. So then I would have to go into battles, and that's how I played the game. And I'm more used to that. Maybe it's because I'm more used to that. I was not very comfortable with catching. Most of the time I was just fighting and then catch them in the ball. So in this game you show up to the first area. It's called Obsidian Fieldland, and on your left you have this really basic Pokemon. It's a bunch of Bidoof, Stardies and stuff. They're all like level 3 and 4. Then on the right, if you are willing to venture out, there's a Snorlax blocking your way. If you go past the Snorlax, you're looking at level 20s, 25 Pokemon. And I think that was pretty good in terms of like game design. It gives you the option to find these really difficult high Pokemon, but you can only get there if you're willing to explore. And these Pokemon, they're all chasing after you. It's like a bunch of Luxrays and Luxios, and they're all like way over leveled than you. If you actually go into a fight, you would 100% lose. The first time I went there, I got into a fight and 100% lost. And because they're Luxrays and stuff, they'll always have vision on you wherever you're doing. So instead of, you can't catch them, I was just running. I was just running, and when I went to the other side, there was more approachable Pokemon. They're still really high levels, but they're not as aggressive. There was a bunch of like Mr. Mimes and Mime Juniors and Abras and stuff. So if you're playing this game, here's a tip: turn to the right. It's high level Pokemon. You can catch them. So when I first went to it, I thought, okay, I'm going to try and catch every single Pokemon I could. And then obviously, because these are level 25s, I couldn't. It's not really telegraphed to you. I think it actually makes the game a lot more interesting. The fact that there's obviously some limits that you can't excel, especially since you're using a Pokeball. If you just try to catch these Pokemon, it wouldn't work. But then you also have the option to get these higher level Pokemon. So I spent a lot of my time in this small section of Obsidian Fieldlands before actually moving on to my next mission to get the Wordio. Then so long that it eventually turned into night. And then you can just find Driflooms lying around. And I thought, wow, Driflooms. Like, if you think about it, which Pokemon game actually has this so you can catch ghost Pokemon really early? Because normally early in game it's just like quick attacks and tackles and stuff. So you have this ghost Pokemon immune to all that. And it doesn't trivialize the earlier game, but makes it a lot easier to catch Pokemon if you think about it. Because then, if you make a good switch in, you wouldn't take damage. I just thought that was nice. So I think after that you finish Obsidian Fieldlands. All these Pokemon level, let's say 5, 15 to 20. There's a few alpha Pokemons. Maybe because of Sword and Shield, I just knew these like big Pokemons, these obviously roaming Pokemon. Then I'll get into fights with them, 100% you're gonna lose. I did try to catch them. They wouldn't go into your Pokeball because again they're like level 20 levels higher than you. Then you go on to the next area and there's new wild Pokemon. For some reason, those wild Pokemon are the same level or higher than the Pokemon I'm using. It could be that I was not grinding the game as much, but I would say I was playing the game as expected. Like, I would complete one rank, finish the area, get all the noble Pokemon, finish all the mandatory battles, and then move on to the next area. And I feel like this is the minimum that they expect of you. So I go on to my next area, and these Pokemon are my Pokemon level or higher. And in a sense, like this goes on for the rest of the game. I'll be level 50, the Pokemon around me will like level 50, 48, like 55, 60. There's some alpha Pokemon like 10, 15 levels higher than you. You can go catch them, not like that hard. And it makes it so that you can't actually have a team. So in the end, my team settled on Infernape, Gardevoir, then you got Alpha Gyarados, then you got that flying and ground type scissor Pokemon, Gengar, and a Gudra, a Hisuian Gudra. Fun fact, none of those were my starter or any of the Pokemon I started off the game with. I started off like a Luxray, a Bidoof, a Starly, and the Oshawott. Because the Pokemon around you would be at your level, there's no point keeping your Pokemon. And then I found that my Oshawott, once it evolved to Duwott, and even when it was a Samurott, it wasn't very good. I kept getting one-shot by the Pokemon around it, so I couldn't even catch anything. So I just chucked it, got an Infernape, and Infernape just worked much better. And it's just like always this trouble, because to me starter Pokemon are like really important. When I build a team, I choose out my team and I make sure that these are like good Pokemon, if, like they work well and all that jazz. This is my game. I want to appreciate it in this way. This is how I envision Pokemon. Making a team, you're making a team like you and like all that stuff. And I feel like in recent games, even like heavily incentivizing that by giving all that bullshit friendship bonuses, like Pokemon can survive a critical hit because they have friendship. That doesn't exist in this game, by the way. So now all these Pokemon are stronger than me, and I have literally no incentive to keep my Pokemon. I could catch a wilder, like I would have a Luxray level 22. I could catch a Luxray level 25, would be higher level than me without putting any training into it. Really accessible everywhere I go. So there's no point in a team. Even more than that, so in this game there's a move tutor where you can just go to the move tutor and buy any moves you want, and you can teach your Pokemon any moves you could ever want, just like right off the bat. So even more incentive, there's no point like training your Pokemon, making sure it has a perfect moveset when you can get any move at any level, you just catch one in the wild. Maybe it's a small nitpick about me, but I feel like the importance of having your own team, being incentivized to make your own team, is what makes the team. Okay, here's a really good example. So, the Thornavolo fight is known as being like really difficult. I do not know what kind of audience I'm looking for. Somebody who hasn't played the game, or again somebody who already knows everything. It's like I'm talking to someone who knows everything. I bet somebody who's not playing the game will probably listen to this. Anyway, so let me tell you, the final Volo fight is really difficult. And the first time I went to it with my standard team, I got my ass whooped. Like just take my ass and a stick and just whack it. Like I could not win. My team was underleveled. Why was it underleveled? I don't know. I'm playing the game normally. I wouldn't say I'm like trying to speed run. I was taking my time and having fun. I was having fun, by the way. So anyway, I got my ass whooped. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go and catch a full team of alpha Pokemon. So I went online, searched out where all the alpha Pokemon are. Up to the level that I could max. So like I said, like level 85 max with my rank. And I was like, okay, I'm going to catch all the alpha Pokemon up to level 85. And I went and caught all the Pokemon I could. These are like really good teams. I got a bunch of level 7. Like everyone in my team was at least level 17. I had like an 85 in my team. So alpha Garchomp. Anyway, so I have this team of alpha Pokemon, and it was so easy to catch them because all I had to do was lower them down to like a yellow and throw an Ultra Ball, 2-3 Ultra Balls that would come in. There's even more tricks. If you ever go online and search, you can just like get into a battle, run away from the battle while you're behind them, and before like everything gets back to normal, just throw another ball and stun them from behind. And they're stunned and they can't do anything. You can hit them, run away, stun them again, rinse and repeat. I feel like that's us breaking the game, but I feel like it's also Pokemon's hindsight for allowing this to happen. So alpha Pokemon just get immediately trivialized. So I catch all these alpha Pokemon, and then I can just go immediately pay like 8,000 per Pokemon. Then the moveset is equal to or better than my initial team, and then I have no. The only reason I kept my initial team is because I had some like emotional connection to them. Like these are the Pokemon I wanted. On the other hand, you have a full team of Alpha Pokemon, which are 10 levels higher than your Pokemon. They are Alpha Pokemon, so they have just generally better stats and equivalent or better moveset. I don't know. It kind of really lowers the weight of what it means to have a team. Yeah. Now that's the Pokemon game. Anyway, here's another thing we'll talk about. So in this game, you get Pokeballs, Ultra Balls, Pokeballs, Great Balls, Ultra Balls, standard. Then you got their counterparts, which are the wing version or the jet version and the heavy version, Legend Balls. So with the Pokeballs, Great Balls, and Ultra Balls, I think Pokeballs and Great Balls are pretty nice. It gives a certain level of difficulty. You have a Pokeball and you're like, of course I can't catch Alpha Pokemon. Even level 25 they're really difficult. But you can still try, it gives a challenge. You're trying to catch these higher level Pokemon, and once in a while you can. I think I caught like a Graveler, which is like 5-10 levels higher than me with a Pokeball. Not bad. Okay, I think that's nice. And you get the Ultra Balls, a nice big step up, and suddenly all your iron chunks that you've collected, they kind of work. Okay, that's good. I like that. And then you get the Ultra Ball, and the Ultra Ball is just ridiculously overpowered. I mean, it's kind of late game. It's not really late game. If you go one rank per area, you get the Ultra Ball right before you finish the main story. And these Ultra Balls have like the most jank catch rate. It's just catching everything so easily. I don't know, just what's the point of having these Pokeballs and Ultra Balls? What's the point of trying so hard in the early game to challenge myself when I can just get the Ultra Ball and even the highest level Alpha Pokemon goes in so easily? All the legendary Pokemon literally just went in one ball. You keep that in mind. One ball for every single legendary Pokemon. It's not scared, I didn't feel the stress and the pressure when they all went in one ball. With the Great Ball, it was like a challenge. It really was a challenge. Like every level 69 Alpha and Proleon now trying to catch it. It wouldn't go in, but like I've caught other Pokemon about the same level with the Great Ball and they do went in. So I'm like, is it going to go in? Is it not going to go in? With Ultra Ball, it went in one. What's going on? Okay, so what do I think about Wing Balls and Heavy Balls? I think the Wing Balls are really nice. Because aiming in this game is really difficult. I have a really big problem in trying to get close enough to a Pokemon while aiming at them without them noticing me while I'm in the tall grass. The Wing Ball, I wouldn't say trivializes all that, but it makes it much easier. You can just approach a Pokemon from quite far away, take your time to aim, throw the Wing Ball or whatever equivalent you have. They have the same catch rate as Pokeball, Great Ball, Ultra Balls, depending on like what kind of ball you have. But the fact that you have this additional distance, you don't really have to try to like, aim and not be seen and all. It comes in quite well. With the heavy balls, the leaden balls and all that stuff, I never used any of them. Switching to them takes a lot of time, so normally you keep your Pokeball in hand and you have to switch to them. It's like, it doesn't really work. You have to get really close to them. Like, it's really surprising how bad it is. In terms of distance. I mean, that's the point, they make it like that, but it's really hard to get used to, the fact that you have to get so close. And I'm the kind of person who is not very interested in all this catching jazz. So there's a lot of tricks. You can use a smoke bomb, you can throw your favorite foods and all the yada yada yada. You can get really close and then throw your heavy ball and it feels really nice. I didn't do that once. I didn't even try to do the favorite food things at all. Because the other balls work. You can go into a battle and just catch. You really could learn the game and try all this stuff and use all the balls. Or you could just use a wing ball, get really far away and throw it. Okay, it's gonna go in the first time and throw it again. It's gonna go in the second time and throw it again. Because you're so far away, the Pokemon can't notice you. So the point is end up getting into the ball anyway. A nice thing about this Pokemon Legends Arceus is that you get accessibility to new Pokemon. So obviously you have the new Pokemon, like the Hisuian Pokemon. That sounded really weird because I was reading a script. So you have the Hisuian Pokemon, and they're all kind of interesting. I feel like there's too many ground and psychic types, and I mean it's only like see about 10 new Pokemon. But I would like a bit more coverage. So when I was building my new team, I didn't really use any Hisuian Pokemon because there's not a lot of variety. I really wanted Alpha Hisuian Zoroark. Unfortunately, there is one Alpha Hisuian Zoroark in the just before you beat the game, but it's not telegraphed to you, and I did not know that, so I beat it without catching it. I KO'd it. I could never get it again, and I regret that to this day. Apparently, you can find some Alpha Pokemon out, like random rare spawns in the wild, and then so you can catch a random wild Alpha Zoroark of like a 1.something% chance. I don't have the patience for that, evidently. I'm getting sidetracked. So you got all these new Pokemon. I didn't end up using any of them, unfortunately. But I did force myself to use the Alpha Hisuian Gudra, because it is technically the pseudo-legendary of the game, the new pseudo-legendary. So instead of having a Garchomp, which is what I would normally do, it's got this Hisuian Gudra. It did not work in my team at all. It could take 1 or 2 hits, but didn't have the speed or did not have the damage. So not very useful. I didn't get any other Hisuian Pokemon. But anyway, just the main point of this is that you can get non-trade Pokemon. Woo! It actually, like, that sounds like a really dead woo, but it's really woo to me. Like, I've never really had a game where I could take my, let's say, Alakazam and turn it into a Kadabra. Kadabra turn into an Alakazam. In, like, Sword and Shield, you can just catch a wild Abracadabra Alakazam. But in this game, you can take your Kadabra and train it up into an Alakazam using the link cord. And with the link cord, you have to go through this like mini game of going to different areas, collecting satchels. You need about like, I would say 12 or 13 satchels to get the link cord. Enough money to buy the link cord, and you can get these Pokemon which are normally I can't get. And this really opened up a lot of avenues to me. Like, you don't believe how much I've really wanted to play with a Gengar. So normally, I want Gengar, but I can't get Gengar because you need to trade and I don't have friends. Haha, lol, Pokemon vibes. So normally I would just go get a Crobat, but in this game I could get the Gengar. So I took a Haunter and actually trained him up and then like sped run it so I could get the Gengar, and I just felt so happy about that. Thank you, Legends Arceus, for that. Another thing catching is there's this thing called time-space distortions. Whoa. It's not telegraphed what they are, they just kind of appear out of nowhere. So I was just playing the game. I think I was in the Cobalt Coastlands, and then this rainbow appeared, and I was like, whoa, what's going on? So I went into it and it was like, this is a time-space distortion. But it was before the time-space distortion happened. I have no idea what's going on. I was like wandering around, nothing's happening. So I went online, researched out what's going to happen. So I went back to the Pokemon camp, and I unloaded it, healed all my Pokemon, got a bunch of balls, and went inside the time-space distortion. And it was kind of interesting. So this distortion opens and random Pokemon spawn in all the time. I think they spawn in like 3, and then these are rare Pokemon like an Eevee or like a Flareon, or you can get like Porygons and stuff. And it's like, it's just interesting. You can find things on the ground, you get like Dubious Discs and Link Cords and all that stuff. And, you could get that through normal doing like trading with the satchels, but you can also get them in time-space distortion. This is interesting. It definitely adds to the game. You'll notice later I'm going to say something about what I mean by this adds to the game, but like time-space distortions add to the game. It's not too bad. You also get stuff on the ground. You can get these shards. I did not know what to do with shards. For them, I didn't want to search it up because like I didn't care. But apparently shards, you can use them to make star pieces if you collect them together with soft sand. It's not told. I guess you just have to be creative. I don't know. Okay, so normally in Pokemon, I go to everywhere. Like, if I see a branching path, I always go into the branching path, complete the branching path, come back out. Then I would go to like every single building and talk to every person. For some reason, in Pokemon Legends Arceus, I didn't feel like I needed to do that. So, in let's say Jubilife Village, I went to like 2 buildings in total, and I was in and out of those 2 buildings. I did not talk to any other building. And in like Pokemon, the Pearl Village or the Diamond Village, again, I did not go into any of the buildings to talk to anyone there. I guess I'm missing out a lot of content in that sense, but I just didn't feel like I needed to. And I really, in the end, I really didn't need to. Anyway, so yeah, star pieces. So apparently you get star pieces which are like a lot more money than the shards individually, but it's not telegraphed to you. I think it's a neat thing. And in time space distortions, I felt a bit overwhelmed with the amount of Pokemon spawning. And I'm the kind of guy who I think I only need one of each. So I see an Alakazam, I catch one Alakazam, and then I see like 3 more spawn, I just run away. So for most of the time space distortion, I was running around in circles. And because of that, I felt like it went on for too long. Like, there's only 4 or 5 new Pokemon I catch. I caught all these new Pokemon, and I was just running around in circles. And it disappeared. And then, after that, there appeared more. Like, there have been more time-space distortions. And it is really an interesting mechanic. It is not something necessarily for me. I'll get onto that now, actually. I don't plan on finishing the Pokédex. I really don't. I know that's a really big part of the game, but the way it's built is jank in a sense. Like, you have to reach level 10 on every single Pokemon. You can't just catch one version of each Pokemon. And I guess that adds to difficulty. But to me, that just adds to it. Like, the stuff I don't want to do. I don't want to take a Starly and use Tackle 10 times. I don't even know if that's an option, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to evolve 5 Ultra Wards. I want to catch every Pokemon, get one of them, and just leave them in my box and never touch them again. And I guess this is Pokemon's way of like incentivizing you to play the game more. It's like trying to add in more content. But it's not for me. I do not plan at all, full stop 100% on catching Arceus. Yeah, you know, same for like Shiny Hunting. Okay, so there are these things called raids or something, outbreaks. And these outbreaks is just like a bunch of these Pokemon. So it'll tell you, be like, okay, there's gonna be an outbreak of Magikarp in Cobalt Coastland. So you go there, and there'll be a lot of Magikarps. And then this helps with shiny hunting. I am personally not interested in shiny hunting. I can see the appeal of shiny hunting. So shiny hunting is something difficult, supposed to be something rare and special. But then it comes to the point where, don't you think Pokemon games made shiny hunting way too easy? Like, the difficulty went from like 1 in 8,092, and now you can make it like 1 in 3,000 or something like that, even lower than that, 2,000 something. I feel like they don't understand the point of shinies. I don't understand the point of shinies, to be honest, but I think the point of shinies is that it's difficult, and by making it so easy, so accessible, not for me. I don't like where they're going with this. Anyway, with completing the Pokédex, I like the idea of catching every Pokemon. So I catch a Pokemon, level it up, and evolve it, and get one of these really rare Pokemon. I do not want to catch 10 of them. I definitely don't want to catch 10 Starlies, waste 10 Pokeballs doing that, then go to my box and then release 10 Starlies. Like, come on, man, it's not for me. So let's talk about battling. I'm kind of conflicted in this. Like, to some extent, battling is the best part of the game. And to some extent, battling is the worst part of the game. What's going on here? Okay, I'm making an immediate tangent, but let's talk about something else first. So in each alpha Pokemon, you're supposed to do this thing where you're supposed to like throw bombs at all the novel Pokemon and dodge them, and like throw bombs and dodge them. You're supposed to time yourself in between attacks. I think it's a completely different game from Pokemon, and it works in this context. I feel like it barely works. Like, this mechanic is so different from the catching and the normal battling of Pokemon, and it's just kind of shoved in there, and it adds a certain level of difficulty to it. So I failed quite a few times. It just didn't feel like a Pokemon thing. I don't know, I like the idea of dodging Pokemon moves so you don't get hit and running around and stuff, but like when it's a sequence battle where it's supposed to throw bombs at a Pokemon while dodging, it doesn't really feel right. It feels like a different game altogether. Anyway, let's talk about battling. Let's talk about the differences in battling first. I'm taking all these tangents because I'm trying to build up this one really big thing about why I like it. Okay, so let's talk about the difference in battling. Step 1. There are no more abilities. This is not told to me. If you hear the intro of my video, I said I had no idea anything about it going in, and nobody told me there's gonna be no abilities. Like, come on, man. It's a shock. It's a shock when you realize there's no abilities, because suddenly you're like, oh, this Pokemon normally has levitate, and then you earthquake it and it dies. Or like you see a Geodude, and then you're like, Geodudes, I gotta like hit him twice with the study. You get a bit of PTSD. You feel like a water gun. Wait, and throw another water gun normally. Doesn't have that, so it's kind of whipped me. I personally feel like ability should have been kept in the game. They might have done it to streamline the game in a sense. I think because you know how some abilities like they impact overworld sprites and spawning. So maybe they did it so that it would not affect that, or they just had ran out of time and they couldn't balance the game with all these abilities. But playing Pokemon without abilities feels like a very different game, and I just have to keep reminding myself there's no abilities, because it's just so ingrained on me. Like I look at a Pokemon, I can immediately tell what I should be looking out for, what abilities they have. Another thing they changed is that there are no items in game, so you can use normal healing potions, your super potion, and all the jazz, but there's no actual like items in the game. There's no life orb or all the scarves. I think it's pretty neat. Like I didn't notice there was no items until I noticed there was no items, and I only noticed there was no items quite late in the game. Maybe because I don't really use that many items, but it could also just be that the game works without items. I think in this case, the abilities, I feel like they should have kept the abilities, but like playing the game without items is fine actually. Not too bad. Just telling you that right now. You don't have any items. It's not really a packed game. Another thing they changed is they added this thing called strong style, weak style. I am getting ahead of myself. They changed the speed order of the game. So when you fight, instead of you moving and then he moving and then you moving and then he moving and then he turns, it's more like Digimon. So you have your speed stat and you have to work around your speed stat. So sometimes you might hit once, you might hit twice, or you might hit twice, you might hit once. Okay, I'm getting another tangent. Stop me, don't stop me. They remove switching in this game. So let's say you're fighting an enemy trainer, you would throw out a Pokemon, you would defeat his Pokemon, and normally you have the option to be like, okay, I want to switch out. No, it'll be like, your Pokemon's going to send out a Zygarde. Would you like to switch? And you'd be like, yes or no. Knowing Zygarde, like a dragon, ground type, so I would normally throw out an ice type Pokemon, or at least make sure my Pokemon can use the ice type move. In this game, it doesn't happen, and normally the enemy Pokemon can move first, so they would come in and hit you, and this is related to something else I will talk about later. Back to the point. They added strong style, weak style in this game. Strong style is where you can do more damage but takes little bit more time. Then you have agile style where you do less damage but it's a bit faster. I didn't use this mechanic. I will get back into that later. I'm talking about all the nitpicks first. Okay, so I didn't use the mechanic until the final battle when I was getting my ass handed to me. I was like, okay, I actually need to focus right now. I went online and they said, just use strong style to one-shot all the enemy Pokemon. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me just run straight to it. So in this game, the problem is it's too easy to one-shot. I'm fighting against enemy trainers, and normally I am one-shotting their Pokemon. He's one-shotting my Pokemon. Maybe because we're all like level 60s, and I'm one-shotting his Pokemon. He's one-shotting my Pokemon. So the winner is either the guy who has more Pokemon. I have 6, he has 5, so I end up with 1 Pokemon more than him, and I win. Or whoever's lucky enough to have the best type matchup. Because normally it's smart AI, so they come in and send out a Pokemon which has like a super effective move to one-shot your Pokemon, because obviously you're getting one-shot. And maybe his last Pokemon doesn't have a move that can one-shot you, and maybe you have the last Pokemon which does, and then you win. That's mostly the battling of this game. And this is kind of made worse by the fact that, okay, 2 points. A, the alpha Pokemon have increased stats. So that means they are definitely outspeeding you when you throw out a Pokemon. Like, okay, if you're playing blind, you can obviously cheese the system and figure out a way to like beat that. But you're coming in blind, they will obviously one-shot you. So I have to send in the Pokemon and that guy is 100% gonna die. Then I would probably 2-shot them, maybe 3-shot them. Nope, no. I always have a Pokemon who's super effective. I can definitely two-shot every single alpha Pokemon I have met, unless they're 30 levels higher than me. No, even if they're 30 levels higher than me, the only reason I lose is because I'm trying to catch it and I take a lot of damage trying to catch him. It's really a game of one-shotting. I'll find wild Pokemon and they'll still be one-shotting my Pokemon. This is made not really worse, but increased by the fact that every Pokemon essentially has perfect coverage. So you catch the Pokemon, as I said, and they all have their move lists that they already know. Then you can go to this trainer, and you can pay money to get every move, like a move tutor that you possibly want on your Pokemon. You can change out these moves as much as you want, whenever you want. I do not really like that because of this problem. And they can learn, like, almost every Pokemon. Either you can learn the Elemental Fangs, or the Elemental Punches, which is Fire, Ice, Electric, or they can learn they can learn Bulldoze, or Earthquake, or like Ice Beam, and every Pokemon will have perfect coverage. Not necessarily perfect coverage, but take two Pokemon and they'll be able to have a super effective move against any Pokemon anyone can possibly throw out at you. And a lot of Pokemon, fun fact, are like monotype times a duo type times 4 weak to move. So like Hisuian Arcanine is rock and fire. That's times 4 super effective by water and ground. Stuff like that. So everything is just being one shot. Maybe it's just when Pokemon are at a high level, like when the game is not hand feeding you and you're all at the same level. This is just how Pokemon is normally run. I don't think so. I know in competitive, like damage calculations, making sure you get 2 or 3 hits out is really important. But I feel like in this game, I was really just getting one shot the entire time. So I'm just complaining. Why did I say I like battling? Because in the game, they actually made it so that you have a level of difficulty. Oh my god, Pokemon is difficult. What's going on? So, as I said before, I play this game pretty linearly. I'm not doing anything special. I'm not grinding or anything. So my Pokemon, I would say, is what most people would expect to be at if they're playing the game casually. I'm just one guy playing at one time, going in blind with a bit of experience of Pokemon. So let's say my Pokemon level 50, the enemy is level 55. Oh my god, I'm being out-leveled. I think once I got to the 5th area, the Alabasta place, I never over-leveled an enemy Pokemon anymore. It's crazy, I'm lost for words. I genuinely am. I was under-leveled and I was scared going into battles, and I was being one-shot. I mean, in the end, I beat all of them first try, easy victory because of the one-shot mechanic, but at that point in time, when you're entering a battle and you're seeing these guys with level 55 and level 50, or level 65 and level 60, you're going I could lose. There's an actual, fear of losing. And I really like that. The problem is that there's very few battles, unfortunately. It's not like a normal Pokemon game where battling is the main part of this. You have your 8 gyms, and inside the gyms you have a lot of people in between, and then part of the plot is so many battles. I think in this game there's only 20 at most actual battles, and a lot of them are 2 Pokemon fighting you at a time, or 3 Pokemon fighting you at a time. Nearing the end, they have teams of 5, which is good. I really praise Pokemon for making the game much more difficult. Me feeling underleveled going into battles. But there's not a lot. I mean, there's not a lot as part of the main story. There's a few alpha battles. I don't count alpha battles because there's one Pokemon against a team of 6. You can heal right after. And then they took that, okay? So the game's kind of difficult. And they made it more difficult. So Cynthia is the Elite 4 champion, and she is so difficult, and everyone has nightmares about her. They took Cynthia, they made her an ancestor called Volo, and they made Volo ridiculously strong. I had level 60 to 65 Pokemon at a time. He had level 70s, a full team of 6 level 70s. Okay, so I go in, and I somehow managed to beat him with 1 Pokemon remaining because of the one-shot mechanic. Then you know what he throws out? Oh, before that, he has the exact same team with Cynthia, except like one Pokemon changed out, so you know he's difficult. Anyway, so that happens. Then he pulls out a Giratina out of his ass. I have one Pokemon, he pulls a Giratina out of his ass and he one-shots it because obviously, with the speeds that it will go first no matter what I do, especially if it's 5 levels higher than me. It one-shots me and I lose. Okay, so then I got a full team of Alpha Pokemon and I fought Volo. Because it's still a one-shot game, but my Pokemon are Alphas now, they're stronger, they're high level. I finished the game with finished Volo with 2 Pokemon. I still get one shot. And then my second Pokemon can take Giratina to half health, and then he dies. So try again. And I take a full Alpha team and I finish with 3 Pokemon. First Pokemon gets one shot. Second Pokemon managed to chunk him and dies. The third Pokemon managed to finally beat Giratina. And then there's another Giratina comes out of nowhere, stronger with better stats. Oh my god, full health. So essentially Volo has 8 Pokemon. And I know I want Pokemon to be more difficult. This is too much. I guess because it's an end game thing, it's a post game thing, you can retry it as many times as you want. But I don't know. Make it a bit easier. Come on. So you know what I did in the end? Level 77 Gliscor. This is a ground flying Pokemon. I caught a level 77 Alpha Gliscor. I perfected his moveset, so I had Ice Fang. And then there's this thing called Grit Stones, Grit Dust, and Grit Rocks. I'm gonna tell you what I did first. So I used all my Grit Rocks and all my Grit Stones and all my Grit Dust onto my Alpha Gliscor, so that when I actually went to the fight, my Alpha Gliscor pretty much solo carried the entirety of Volo's team, except for like one Pokemon. And then B, I used my Gliscor to beat both Giratinas with Ice Fang, because with these rocks and stuff put into it, it could take more than one hit. So I could take like 3 hits, so 2 hits, then heal, 2 hits and then heal, and then somehow I managed to beat the game. Cheat codes. I know people tell you to use the Moon Pokemon. I think this works too, but you have to use up all your Grit Stones. Anyway, I do not like Grit Stones. So with this game, there is like, I don't know if there is or there isn't EV and DV stats and all that. You have natures, but other than that, I don't know what's going on. So what you can do is you can give these items called, let's say, Grit Dust to like increase HP by 1. I don't know what 1 is, but it increases it by 1. And you can use that on all your stats. So there's 6 stats: HP, special attack, special defense, and speed. So there's 6 of these, and each one can be leveled up 5 times, so that's 30. And then you can level those up even more 3 times. So that's 8, so times 6, which is 48. And then you can level those up another 3 times, I think. I didn't even make it to the max, I ran out of stones. So that's another 66. You gotta do it 66. You can at most 66. 6 Pokemon, 300, like slightly under 400. I'm not gonna fucking invest all my stones in all of that. So for most of the game, when I didn't need to, I didn't use any stones. Come on, 600. Like, yeah, I guess you could. It's like an optional thing, and it helps make the game like easier. You can get better Pokemon. But there is no competitive nature to this game. There's no online feature as of yet, so I can't really battle against other people, I don't think. Which means these stones are useless. Like, if I can beat the game without using these stones, I would not use these stones, and there's no point in investing in these stones. And there's a lot of stones. I'm upgrading stuff 400 times if I actually want like a full perfect team. And the problem is, you can't upgrade in like one shot. You can't use like 6 stones at a time or 6 stars at a time to upgrade one ability. You're gonna do it manually, one by one. You'll click, yes, I want to use this item on this Pokemon. Which stat you want to upgrade? Yes. And it just takes so long. So if I could avoid it, I avoided it. And to get these stones, you gotta grind it, like defeating strong Pokemon or catching strong Pokemon. So once in a while they drop these stones. I'm not the grindy type. I did not grind for that. So yeah, that is battling. I think the fact that they made the game difficult, I actually heard our opinion, made the game difficult, is something they should keep in all Pokemon games moving forward. I think the Volo fight might be a bit too difficult, or it could be a really good level of difficulty. I don't know, but it's nice. So I really enjoy the fact that they made the game that much more difficult. I complained a lot in this section. I like that they removed items. I think it works okay. I do not like that they removed abilities. And maybe it's just the way Pokemon is made up. Getting one shot is just weird as hell. So I've played Legends of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And in comparison to that, Legends Arceus can be described in one word. Janky. Like, it is just like a B tier Breath of the Wild. I'm getting kind of tired. I'm recording this in like one long shot. So, what do I mean by this? I have no idea anything about this game going in. So I go in, my first area, Obsidian Field Lands. I don't know any of the controls, so I'm trying to figure out. Fun fact, there's no run button. There's no jump button. It's only a dash button. So your two movements at this point is walking and dashing. And dodging, is like just rolling on the floor. Both just felt really incredibly slow. And with Legend Breath of the Wild, I'm just so used to this thing where you could like go to a wall and climb the wall. In Legends of Arceus, you can barely climb any level of incline, and even if you do, it's really slow, and half the time you fall off. That's janky as hell. It's unrealistic. Like, this is something half your height. You should be able to walk it up, and you can't. It's just jank. It's slow. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Then you get the weirdo guy, and then you can ride the weirdo, and even then it's still not very good because all weirdo can do is dash, which is nice. You get a little boost, a speed upgrade like riding on a horse, and jump. And you can't even jump very high, so there's still so many like stuff that you can't jump up, and it still feels really jank. Like, okay, and I mean, it's you feel a lot better with this upgrade. The fact that you can run faster now because normal walking speed is just so slow. Okay. The problem weirdo is that you're like riding a bike, and once in a while you might make a wrong turn. With weirdo, you make a wrong turn a lot, and then you could end up in water. And in this game, lo and behold, you can swim like 3 seconds, and then you immediately drown. It's like crossing bridges with a weirdo. It just feels like it's so difficult. And then once you drown, you can't do anything but drown. So in the early games, I just keep drowning every second. I'm like swimming for 4 seconds. The coast is right next door, and I just can't get out. It's so janky, man. It's jank. With Weirdo too, so a lot of part of this game is catching Pokemon and collecting resources. With Weirdo, you're collecting resources by running up to something, getting off the Weirdo, throwing your Pokeball, come back onto the Weirdo and running off again. I feel like this could be optimized. Like, I'm just pressing buttons which I have to press, even though I really shouldn't be having to press these buttons. And it's because you can't throw out your Pokemon while on these ride Pokemon. But at the same time, that means I have to press the plus, throw a Pokeball, press the plus again, rinse and repeat throughout the entire area. Yeah, I feel like it could be better. So then, also with like catching Pokemon, I'm riding the Weirdo, and you can't hide with the Weirdo. Every time I enter the new area while on the Weirdo, all the Pokemon will see me, and I'll have as much vision as I physically could at that point. And yeah, you could say like, why not just don't ride the Weirdo, just walk in normally. You walk in so slowly that you have to ride a Weirdo. It just feels wrong to not ride a Weirdo, because you don't have the option to run. It's just so slow. Anyway, you get the Ursalana. That's the second ride Pokemon you can get. With Ursalana, it helps you find stuff on the ground. Ursalana is also really jank. It's jank. Ursalana, you're walking, and then like it's the dowsing machines. You can find stuff on the ground. And with Ursalana, you speed up when you find an item on the ground. You go running. But firstly, there are no actually important items gained by this. Like, you can get a bunch of evolutionary stuff like peat moss. I did not need any of those because none of my team had one. There's a few side quests related to it, which I did not do. It's slow, and then once you do find something and you just go running after it, it's jank. Sometimes you hit a wall, sometimes speed's uncontrollable. Sometimes you need to change to another ride Pokemon and then get back onto the Solana. It's jank, because I just never used them. Hit the Basculesian. I actually like the Basculesian. This is not too bad. Like, a really big part of, like, up to that point, I was taking my time with it, is that I kept drowning in water. Finally, with the Basculesian, I could not drown in the water, and it opens up quite a bit of area. Like, even in the previous maps, some areas are blocked off by water, so the Basculesian, it helps. It really does. That's one thing. Like, I think that's a pretty standard thing. It's nice that you can ride in water. I feel like this is something they should have given right from the get-go. I don't know how they would have introduced it in the game, but the fact that you're just drowning all the time is so annoying. The Basculesian just helps so much. Okay, then you get the Sneasler. I really don't like the Sneasler, because the problem with the Sneasler is you're always using the Sneasler, but the other problem with Sneasler is you don't want to be using the Sneasler. So Sneasler helps you climb walls, and there's a lot of the area was just climbing walls, like Mount Coronet Highlands is pretty much just all walls. You never need to use the Weirdeer. But he's really slow in walking, and once in a while you might clip onto a tree and just climb up a tree for no reason. Riding my Weirdeer, I go into the Sneasler, and then with the way the D-pads are, I need to somehow switch out from the Weirdeer into the Sneasler, and I put my finger in a really awkward position. I don't like that. And I have to keep changing and just keep changing, because I'm always switching between the Weirdeer and the Sneasler and the Weirdeer and the Sneasler. It just doesn't feel right. And with the Sneasler, when you're climbing up, it's a bit slow. Okay, acceptable because you're climbing up a mountain. Once in a while, you just clip onto weird stuff. Okay lah, I mean, like, I'm not asking for a perfect game. We're trying to come down. The only way to come down is by jumping. So all I'm doing is jumping off, and then just trying to time it so I can jump some distance down and get back onto the wall. Rinse and repeat. Once in a while, I just jump. I can't find a wall and just fall and hit my feet. Normally would break it, and it hurts, and I feel like it would be better. I feel like that shouldn't be necessary. Then you get to Braviary as your final ride Pokemon. I love and hate Braviary at the same time. I love it in that you can fly up in the air. Like, you're flying, finally you can fly in this Pokemon game. It feels really nice, just going over the areas, when you want to like fast travel to an area, just fly. The problem with Braviary is, when you're on the ground, it brings you up a certain distance, and then when you fly, you're gliding, you slowly go down and down and down and down. But it's really hard to control your distance, your height off the ground. So you're always like, from the ground you're going up a set distance, and then if you somehow like go onto a wall at that height and you use Braviary again, you go up a higher distance, and that's the only way to gain like height. It's not the best, to be honest. And then when you're falling down, it's really hard to control yourself so you don't hit the floor like too hard with your feet, so you somehow gotta use a Braviary halfway through falling. It's jank. It could be better, but Braviary is okay. I feel like that was the best compromise, given that the Switch doesn't have as many controls as we could have wanted. So I think it works okay. So when traveling, you always enter this new area. You see this area and the map is massive, it's huge. And I really like that. It really feels like there's this sense of wonder. It's nice. I genuinely enjoyed that. It's such a big part of the map is unexplored. And you use your ride Pokemon and you just cover as much area as you can. The problem is that each new area has like one new Pokemon, or it's like a designated area for an alpha Pokemon. So nothing new is really added into these areas, especially once you get your ride Pokemon. You're really just running through areas as quickly as you can, just finishing up the map and catching any wild Pokemon you see. It's okay. It's nice. I enjoy that. The problem with these areas is that when you want to transfer between areas, you have to go back to Jubilife City and travel to another area. I do not see why I can't travel from the Cobalt Coastlands straight into Obsidian Fields. Why do I have to go back to Jubilife City? It's just slow. Slow and kind of ruins the pace of the game. Honestly, it's okay. It's something that annoys me, but something I can deal with. Like, it's not a deal breaker for the game. So in this game, there's also weather. I really enjoy the fact that there's weather. Like, I don't think you understand. Every time I saw, like, it'll be raining and I would see a cutscene, and then I could see my hair being wet in the rain, or my clothes being wet in the rain. It's really, that's such a nice touch that you get wet, and it's funny too. Like, I was in the ice area, and then there's this guy who is always shirtless. So I don't know what they did. It was snowing. I was watching the cutscene, and he was there standing because it was snowing. So they added the effect on his body. But what they did was his body had snow on him, but not his head. So he just had this ring where his head was, where there'd be no snow, and then the rest of his body had like the ice effect on it. It's just kind of funny. I like this little touch in the game. So as I said before, a big part of this game is item collection. I feel like the item collection is a really good thing. It kind of makes sure that you don't actually have to shop. You can get all the items you want. You can never get soft locked. And it's like, oh, I'm running out of Pokeballs. You don't have to buy Pokeballs and spend your money, because I'm quite stingy. You can just go out and collect all the stuff. It's a nice incentive. I really like that. The problem is the bag space is really limited, especially in the early game. I don't know if they changed it where, I just got optimized at using the bag. I felt like in the early game I had really little space in my bag, and I was just running into this problem where I'd be exploring an area and getting all these items on the ground, and then running out of bag space, and I have to go back to the camp and then drop it off again. I feel like it improved as the game went on. I don't know if I just got smarter, make sure I collect like better use of my time when collecting items, or they increased the bag space. It was not telegraphed, but it gets better. So in the early game, it's kind of like an annoyance, maybe the good kind of annoyance, because people like that little bit of difficulty. But then after a while, it just gets better. Maybe I just learned. If I learned I'd be really impressed. Like, somebody tell me down in the comments if they actually don't change the bag space, and I just got smarter. So I'm gonna give my closing remarks now. I could really be talking a lot more about this game, but nobody told me how hard it is to talk for an hour on my throat. Okay, so if you're gonna listen to anything about this video, I want you to listen to this part. Would I recommend this game? It's complicated. So, if you have a Switch and you already are like in the Pokemon universe, like all the other Pokemon games, I think compared to Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, this is a really major step upwards. Like, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl really dropped my expectations for all Pokemon games going forward. It was not a bad game. It was a faithful remake that didn't add anything and just made it kind of boring. I wouldn't say it was terrible. It was kind of boring. So you really drop your expectations with that. And then you get Legends of Arceus, and it's much, much better. So if you are in the Switch ecosystem, yes, I would. Would I recommend this game to somebody who doesn't have a Switch? No, because the Switch is a terrible console. Half the time when I'm playing this game, my left controller is either disconnected or moving to the side. I'm pretty sure they're gonna come up with a new Switch console anytime soon. Compared to the PS5 and all that stuff, it does not have any of the power. And yes, it's really nice and family friendly and has such great games like Breath of the Wild. I would say this game is pretty good too. I really like all the Pokemon games on it. All the Mario games are really good for parties. Secret Trick is really good for girls. It's not like COD where you have to teach them how to play the game. You can just throw up Mario Party and they could just play it. But the Switch is so jank. My left controller keeps getting disconnected in the game and it's so annoying. So it's really hard to recommend this game, especially because I like this game. If you don't have a Switch, because don't get a Switch, but get this game, but don't get the Switch. You see the problem. But the reasons why I recommend this game is, firstly, a lot of care and attention is put in this game. It's really obvious that a lot of little Easter eggs and little like animation details and stuff that they add into this game just to make the game so much more full and fun. And they also made the game much more difficult. I've ranted on about this already, but the fact that the game is more difficult really makes the game a lot more fun. The problem though is that I found that this game is a bit small. Like, I spent a lot of time. 32 hours to finish the main game is a long time. But I really didn't feel like I have more stuff to do. Like, I'm not interested in completing the Pokédex. I do not like side quests, especially in this game. Side quests are in the sense where you have to go back to Jubilife Village, complete the side quest, go out again, takes a bit of time to do the loading screen, come back, in and out. Side quests are not my thing. I've never liked side quests, I never will like side quests. So I completed the game and I just really don't feel like there's much more for me to do. And I will try, I am open, I'll try to keep playing the game and do more stuff, but as of right now, I don't really have anything to do after being the post game. Maybe I'll restart it, play some speedruns, I don't know. I think what the Pokemon Legends Arceus is that it lacks online features. Maybe it does have it, I just don't know how to access it, but online features is probably what, like, Sword and Shield was not the best game, but I think what made it like pop off so well is online features, especially with the DLC and the Crown Tundra. Like, it's really good to market itself, where like people can go together and go like den raiding, or like the whole big competitive scene. Like Pokemon Sword and Shield were moving towards better, easier for you to be competitive, like changing your natures and abilities and all that stuff. But then you have this game where there's no online features, so I'm not really investing myself to make good Pokemon because I can't compete against my friends with these good Pokemon. And I feel like this like style of gameplay and this game format would really work if there's like a competitive thing. It would make the game much more interesting. Add back abilities, please, but the strong style, agile style, and like the turn-based combat is not too bad of an idea. I genuinely enjoyed it. But without the online features, I feel like this game is just going to be one of the games. Okay, so what I mean by this, think about this. So you have the first Gen 4 Pokemon, and these are the classics, you know, like everyone loved these games, no doubt, 100%. Then you get Gen 5, and I feel like with Black and White, I personally love the games. I feel like there's a new renaissance recently where people are starting to love the games more for its like for its graphics and like its gameplay, and the fact that Black 2 and White 2 added so much new content into it. So, good games. Then you get Gen 6. X and Y are so forgettable. Like, they just kept pandering towards Gen 1 people. And it's a really big game, but I think to me it's because it was just so easy. None of it like really stuck in my head, especially like the plot. OS, in terms of remakes, I think they were really great remakes. These are the games where I put in a lot of time. Like, I think either between Black and White or OS, the one games where I put in the most amount of effort, and especially in terms of remakes, it's really fun remakes. The post-game content was such like long and nice. Like, I feel like Legends and Arceus is really missing this post-game content. Like in OS, I really felt invested to stay in the game and keep playing, but now Legends Arceus, I'm not. Then you get Sun and Moon. I remember when it came out, Sun and Moon was like this really big thing, and all these articles about how they're changing out the Pokemon format with the Island Kahunas and challenges and stuff. Good on Pokemon. I will forever remember it for the fact that they tried to change it up. Personally, most of Sun and Moon I forget because I can't replay the games because the tutorials in the intro are just so long. But it has a like part of history. Then you get Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and especially, I don't know if other people agree with me for this, but in terms of its history, those games could not have existed, and I would not blink an eye. I don't feel like they added anything to Sun and Moon. I played it once. I don't think I played the post game. I didn't even know there was a post game. Like, looking back on it, the Rainbow Red stuff, I didn't even know it existed. I have it. I'm not planning on playing it again. Ultra Sun and Ultra Sun Moon could not exist. Then after that, I think we got Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, and that game was pandering towards the Pokemon Go content. It was so obvious. The game was really easy. The graphics kind of memorable, but not much of Let's Go Eevee's in my mind, especially since it was just Gen 1 with a filter on it for kids. I feel like that shouldn't have been like a full price game. Then you get Sword and Shield, and yeah, there's so much controversy about Sword and Shield, like how it's not good, but people are still going to play it because they love playing Pokemon, and a lot of content on YouTube about Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I played Sword and Shield like 3 or 4 run-throughs. I enjoyed it. Okay? I think it's something that's going to stick in my mind forever, especially the fact that they try to change up the plot. Some people say the fact that you have no part of the plot until the end. It's really bad game design. Other people say it's really good, that they're trying to make the games more realistic. I'm on the fence. I think it's just okay. I will remember Sword and Shield. It's not bad. It generally is not bad. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. These games were too faithful a remake. It literally does not add anything new. I see no reason why anybody should be playing it. It is going to be forgotten towards the annals of time. I feel like with Legends Arceus, unless they make a whole Legends series after this, it could probably also end up in the annals of time, because it really feels like a spin-off. Like, it adds a bit more to the lore, and it technically is a main story game, but the mechanics aren't exactly Pokemon, especially since they changed, like, they removed abilities and they changed the way stats work and all that jazz. It didn't really feel like that much of a Pokemon game, while it still feels like a Pokemon game. So unless they develop this, it could just be forgotten in time. I feel kind of bad for that, because I do enjoy the game. I can tell the developers really, really like this game. But now we're facing a point where there's branching paths, and there's like infinite number of paths. And Pokemon makes like a proper game once a year, maybe once every 2 years. And if they do not follow this path, it could be gone forever. Because there really isn't much to do in the game. You can 100% the game, obviously, and a lot of people have. Once you're done with that, you've literally 100% the game. It's not like special to 100% the game. There's not a lot more to do, especially since there's no online features. And I don't want to be the guy who's like, this game should have DLC, because it's a $60 game, and I do not feel like it needs DLC, but I also feel like it needs more content. So that's really what I think. Moving forward, they need to give free content upgrades. I know that's asking, but if not, it's just going to be a game forgotten, where people aren't going to play it and disappear towards the history books. Moving forward, I said that word like 4 times already. I feel like games after this should incorporate a little bit about it. I do feel like I don't actually like the open worldness. I feel like if they're going to make a Gen 5 remake, that's what I'm really looking forward to. I want them to do a Gen 5 remake, black and white. I do not want them to have 3D sprites. This is just me, but it would be so cool if they had like sprite art again. Oh my god, it would be so fun and so cool, and adds such flavor. I know it's a lot of work to redesign a game with all digital 2D sprites and then animating all of that. But I would love it. Like, it would just hit a spot in my heart if they made remakes of black and white with all these like little details and make it 2D. But then I feel like you should take some stuff from Legends Arceus. Like, it has good stuff. Maybe moving forward, it could be other games. It would have the Legends theme, so you're traveling back in time. It would really confuse up the plot. It could work. Being able to catch a Pokemon is really nice. The animations of this game are step it far beyond Pokemon Sword and Shield, so they should really keep that. Ride Pokemon is definitely something they should keep. I feel like they should improve on it. I do not want this game to be forgotten to the annals of time, and I'm really afraid it might be. Maybe the speedrunning. It feels like a game where speedrunning would be really fun with it. So I'm looking forward. Maybe the speedrunning community will keep this game alive. But if not, I feel like it's going to become the next Let's Go in EV and just disappear. Well, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Literally anything in the bottom. My throat hurts, so make this video pop, please.